Hi, remember me? This is the BioLite Firepit. Just got in the mail yesterday afternoon, and I'm going to take the cover off of it and start up the first fire, and we'll see what the heck this thing does. Clamp the sides. Does not come like this. I've sort of pre-assembled it for the purposes of making life easy on myself. I do have the instructions in here in case I have forgotten how to start a fire. This grate is the grate that lifts up if we were going to do charcoal. Should hang up there, but we're not going to, so we'll leave it on the bottom. Make sure the little ash dump is closed. And this is the kind of firewood that you get at like a grocery store or something like that. And just for proof of concept, looks like they cut these to about 14 inches or thereabouts. Let's just crack that open. Stick some of these in here. Double check with the camera person. How's it look up there, camera person?
Looks good.
The paper just right there. Let's put those in there. I don't know. I didn't really read the instructions on this, so I'm sure some of you at home are thinking, oh my god, this is not how you do this. You're insane. That's fine. Wouldn't be the first time I've had those comments on this channel. I will note, this is the battery pack / fan unit. There's one other review on YouTube today, and he said that he had some trouble with the clamping mechanism over here. I had no such trouble. It's a nice, firm fit. So, fortunately, I think we got a good unit here. So I'll start the fan on low. A little air circulation through there. Just a little paper. All right. So it's not quite a bed of coals yet, but as I mentioned before, I am hungry. This has been cooking down for about 15 minutes or so. The fan self-adjusted to a slightly slower speed. I had it up all the way to 4, and it brought it back down to 3. Not entirely sure what that's about. It is mostly smoke-free. There's a little bit of smoke you may be able to see off to our right side. And there's a little bit of off-gassing that smells like it's the enamels that were used during the manufacturing process. Nothing that is excessive. Certainly not anything that I'm worried about. But I am going to go ahead and throw some chicken on here, and I will let you know how this turns out when it's all done. Hey folks, we're a few minutes into cooking this chicken, and smells real good with the spices and the wood smoke. I'll say I turned the fan back up to full blast, and there seems to be I don't know, some sort of a harmonic that has started up. I don't know if it's because it's on the cement blocks, which the lawn has overgrown, but it is mostly on cement blocks, or if it's just something that is part of the way these are set up. It's not super annoying right now. Things got a little hairy when I put another log on there. The fire started to die down, and it was not cooking evenly. You might notice that the 2 pieces that are nearest the fire are a little charred on the side that is up currently, and they were completely raw on the bottom side. So I've got a fair amount of experience cooking on charcoal and mesquite lump and propane, even cooking at campsites over open fire. But this is just another tool that I am going to have to get used to using. I will note that the grate, even though it only has a handful of chicken thighs on there, seems to be a little warpy in some places, so I'm not sure what the story is with that. It is not interfering with the ability to slide the grill back and forth, but something maybe to take note of regarding longevity, overall build quality. But it looks like it's dying down now. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes and then slide all the chicken back on top. Hopefully it'll be a better bed of coals in a few minutes. It does not take long for these units to burn through this wood. That is, I suppose, the advantage of having the blower in there. The meats have all been cooked, and this is probably another, I don't know, 5 minutes after I took them off. The grate definitely has some warping to it, and the experience is not as smoke-free as I think the advertising led me to believe. When the large log that has a lot of flame on it now was still burning, if I had it below the max setting, there was a fair amount of smoke, and it definitely got in my eyes when I was trying to move the chicken around. So it's definitely better than I would expect from just an atmospheric burn of wood. I'm going to reserve judgment on this until I've used it a few times. My initial reaction is that I would give this roughly 7 or 8 out of 10 in terms of ease of use and smoke-freeness. So that piece of wood is still going, and I have turned the fan down to low using their handy-dandy app. Let me see if I can get that to focus. Thank you. One Samsung recording the other Samsung. Welcome to 2018. So, kick this into high. You can hear the fan whirring up. Get a little indicator of how much time is left. It sort of swings back and forth while it figures out what the actual battery usage is. on the low. When I set it there, it finally settled on about 19.5 hours, which seems like a fair amount of fan time for something that the only way to charge it with tools that came with this thing is to use the solar panel. Otherwise you plug it into the wall. And yeah, so that's the update. The app works the way one would expect. The firewood pieces finally went out. I picked out the little bit of char material that was still in there. The unit is quite cool to the touch. And I'm going to take out the grate, which will need cleaning. Make sure you can see this on camera. It's pretty much what you'd expect a barbecue grate to look like. And I just don't feel like having this sticky mess be inside the solar bag while it gets stored away for, I think we're going to go camping here in the next 3 or 4 weeks. I just don't need this stuff basically turning rancid or whatever. There is a door down on this end that is not entirely removable, or maybe it is, I don't know, it seems like it's stuck now. So that's good, we'll get it on video. And, I don't know, I'm just going to give this a shake. Take out the inner grate, which fortunately is also cool to the touch. And this looks like you would expect. My personal preference would have been that the upper grate be this sort of 3/16 material. I believe that's 3/16, might be as much as a 1/4 inch. I'm not going to get calipers on it, but I would have preferred the more robust material for the top as well. Just because, I don't know, you can probably see this. Maybe not. No, the camera's not doing a good job of showing it. But some of these tines are a little bit bent for no good reason. So I'm just going to clean this out with my hand. And it's very, very fine, powdery ash. Even just trying to pick it up to show the camera, show you folks, it just immediately discolors my finger. So yeah, I don't know if you can see how powdery that was. So if I can get the door to close. Oh, looks like there's a little stop down here. There's also a little, you can see this, a little fine wire that was on the end there that potentially would have caught my finger. I'm just going to put this back in the other way. Push this down just a touch. And it's maybe, I'm going to bring you folks over here so you can see what I'm up against, what I'm doing. Maybe I can turn this down a little bit. There we go. That's better. Get this to focus in on this area. So this piece needs to be just another 1/8 inch wider. Otherwise, if it sits to one side or the other, it starts to turn. So it's really not the end of the world. I'm certainly not going to be super upset about it. Does not change my opinion of the item overall. So a little bit of ash in there. I'm going to put the main grate back in. Pick out the little bit of grass that got into the holes. Ta-da! And I am going to take you on a bit of a tour of the overall unit. I'm going to put it up on the deck here. Sorry, I've got a little bit of a cold. And if we can get it to focus, there we go. So there's no damage, no discoloration to the outside. It's, you know, it looks like it's got some smoke on it. It doesn't look any worse than I would have expected something like this to look after having a bunch of firewood in it. You know, battery pack has plenty of air gap in here. You know, same thing on the other side. It's got a little bit of ash where it sort of blew through over here. But it's nothing that, you know, if I was really concerned about it, damp rag would take care of it. I am going to wash the top grill. And let's go ahead and put the solar power pack back on here. And for those of you who've not seen it, this is the solar panel on the pack. There's a USB connector in here. Make sure, yeah. I know y'all know what a USB connector looks like. But yeah, so I had this on. Had the cover on with the battery on, and it's pretty easy to just have the plug in here and then plug into the solar cell, and I will do that again. I don't have it currently out here, but this is just for the purposes of showing how not complicated it is to put the cover back on. Just like throw the connector through. There you have it. I do have a bunch more videos I'm planning to do. Been doing a lot of 3D printing. I've got a few blacksmithing videos that I'm planning, including a revisit of the soft brick forge. I know some folks had some comments about that, in particular regarding how fragile the bricks seemed, or rather how clumsy I seemed when the bricks broke. And we'll address that in that video. But yeah, if you like this, you know, give me a thumbs up, do the subscription thing, tell people about it, share it. Thanks for watching, and everybody be safe out there.